Hey Jamal, my name is Jeff, and I just wanted to push back against this claim of sleaziness.
Saw something that was pretty sleazy. Yeah. It was pretty sleazy. It's just icky. This is sleazy. This is sleazy. I don't like it.
I watched your video, I watched the whole thing, I watched the follow-up, and I have to say, man, if you believe Common Cause, they've misled you. Your central claim is that Cenk is attacking them without reason, and then you go ahead and play a clip with one of the primary 3 reasons that we're bringing this conflict to light.
And I suspect that he would have had more bang for the buck if he could have got on the show, honestly, engaged Common Cause, and explained why he believed this is the best course, and why what they're saying is not legitimate enough reason to prevent him from doing what he's trying to do.
So one day I met with them because we've asked them dozens of times, will you please, for God's sake, stop using your lobbyists to crush these volunteers who are actually fighting for change? They're like, nope. Convention is change. We don't want change. We don't want it.
Common Cause is working against volunteers in the states with their DC lobbyists trying to stop real change from happening. You played the clip where he talked about how they interfered in New Mexico.
He acting like these guys are against him unilaterally on everything.
It's not that they ran out of time. We know now for a fact, and the legislators in New Mexico confirmed it for us. Groups like Common Cause came in and prevented the vote. They had plenty of time. And they said, no, if we vote, we'll lose. Don't let them vote. Kill it in the middle of the night.
He even talked about how they interfered in Hawaii, and I believe he even talked about how they interfered in Vermont.
So out of the 700 calls for a convention, they went to Vermont and tried to rescind the one that gets money out of politics.
I mean, that's 1, 2, 3. They have been working against us for years. It's been in the background, it's been quiet, and we've been trying to work with them because we want what they claim to want, which is to have free and fair elections with some actual sane rules going on. Part of what you have wrong and what Common Cause has misled people to believe, especially with this latest screed that they put out, is that we're 5 applications away from having a convention. And that is not the way it is. Wolfpack's calls are completely separate from the convention of states. It's completely separate from ALEC. It's completely separate from all of those. There are currently over 700 applications, open applications for amendments, but to have a convention to propose amendments. But the reason that we don't is because the agendas have to match. There have to be 34 states that have the same agenda, and right now we don't have that many that all want to talk about the same thing. If you read the Wolfpack resolutions, it says that they want to talk about the role that money plays in politics and what we can do to make sure that from the top to the bottom, citizens have faith that their representatives are actually representing them instead of the arbitrarily wealthy special interests. Look at Wolfpack's donors and look at Common Cause's donors. It's all available online. The FEC has all that stuff published, and you tell me which one is the moneyed interest and which one are citizens in the states. I'm sitting in front of George Washington. I'm currently in the Washington State Capitol. Sorry for the overexposure, but world's biggest Tiffany lamp, so might as well get it in the shot.
It's nice that all those people are involved in the political process. That's good. It should be. That's good. But they're irrelevant.
I've been doing this for about 5 years now, coming down to the Capitol, chatting with my legislators, teaching people how to get a hold of their legislators and what they can and can't do to influence the people that have the power to bring us this monumental change. So you're worried about the delegates. You said, who's going to choose those delegates?
Who's going to write that Constitution, by the way? Who's going to make that update?
What happens if the Koch brothers or the Soros or, I don't know, Pinky Billionaire decides to fund all of the delegates that go to a convention with the ability to propose amendments? We have a word for that. It's called Congress. They are a convention. They have the power to propose amendments, and they're in the pocket of arbitrarily wealthy donors, as evidenced by the fact that they don't listen really to their constituents. And so ultimately, who are these delegates going to be? Ultimately, the states choose. Each state chooses how their delegates get selected. And if you'll notice, I can point out in Washington state that our delegates are chosen by the legislature. We're going to have people that are local and state elected officials and interested citizens that are educated and motivated to do something about this. Basically anybody except for Congress, anybody that has not ever held a federal office, because you had your chance. If you were in Congress, you can propose an amendment tomorrow, today, yesterday. That's all within your sphere of influence. So basically anybody but Congress, and it would be up to the state legislatures to pick the delegates. Meaning if they did a bad job and they sent a bunch of paid corporate shells, then they would have to face their voters at the state level, and that's a very different can of worms from Congress. Citizens can make a big difference in those elections. We have, and we're going to continue to do that until we get what we want.
If you believe Common Cause is wrong, make your argument as to why you believe they're wrong.
So the Department of Justice, the Congressional Research Service, and the American Bar Association all disagree with Common Cause that a convention could be limited. The agenda is set when the convention is called, and they know that because they're going to have the threshold of 34 agendas that agree. You have multiple applications out right now, hundreds and hundreds of applications, but they don't agree on the agenda. So that's a prerequisite. That's something that's going to happen. And your partisanship is actually part of the problem, because the ultimate safeguard that we have is ratification. That's going to require 38 states, both chambers, to say, yep, we want that in the Constitution. Now, I know you're worried about the 69 red chambers out of 99 chambers in the United States. However, even Republicans want this change. Even conservatives want their elected representatives to represent the will of the people. And the state legislators have this power. It's in the Constitution. The Constitution says it clearly. This convention, if it were to be called, would be for the purpose of proposing amendments. End of story. And that's it. It has no more authority to do anything but that. They can propose amendments. People like to conflate it with the original convention that wrote the Constitution. But we know that it's different because the thing that didn't exist back then was the Constitution. So that was a convention called under a completely different authority than this convention. I'm really disappointed that Common Cause misled you and everybody else, because we really need this change. They want to protect the status quo. They don't want this to happen. They are DC lobbyists. They don't have any volunteers in the states, except for the ones that they've co-opted from other groups. So they've been fighting this here in Washington state for at least 3 years, and they've been responsible for basically poisoning the well, making sure that some of our people who would normally be allies are misinformed and won't change their mind about this runaway convention nonsense. That's seriously a scare tactic and fear-mongering. That can't happen. That won't happen. That's not how a convention works.
We don't act out of fear. At Wolfpack, we lead with courage. That's what we do.
The folks that made our Constitution were at a convention. They knew full well the strengths, they knew the weaknesses, and I don't think that they would put, it's the break glass in case of emergency button, the convention. And they would not have put that in there if they, for a second, would have thought that we could just go in there and blow it up. They argued over every clause. They argued over commas, where punctuation should go. They weren't just going to let a bunch of yahoos in 100 years come in and dismantle with them. So, we have the world's oldest constitution, democratically created constitution. It's also the world's shortest democratically created constitution, partly because it's so hard to amend. And that is the ultimate backstop. You're not going to get 38 crazy-ass ALEC-fueled states to be all like, we should pollute rivers. That's not what the convention's about. And it's not something that's in public consciousness. It's a legal thing. that scholars know about, that's been documented well in our history, but we as a society just haven't paid attention to it. You know, blame the internet, blame cable TV, I'm not sure. What you need to do is go to the Capitol and tell your legislators that this needs to happen. Learn about the Constitution, how it works, how Article 5 was meant to be used. Madison and those folks in the Federalist Papers said that this is the way to get the change when Congress becomes too corrupt to answer to the will of the people. So,
get over it. Get over it.
You want me to get over it? You want me to just get over the fact that I've been putting 5 years of my life into this, and Common Cause flies in with one lobbyist from D.C. and says, hit the kibosh on it, with the complete scare tactic mantra, and for no other reason than to preserve the status quo. No, I'm not going to get out over it. I'm going to get active. I'm going to continue to be active, and I encourage you to do the same thing. Call your representatives. You know, ask them what they're doing about this. Ask them what they're willing to do. Encourage them to do the right thing. We all know what that is. So use the internet, man. Do some homework. Learn about why Common Cause is wrong, and you know, ask me questions. I'm happy to help you with that. Man, I spent a lot of time learning about it simply because of what I do, and I'm happy to help. It breaks my heart to see you thinking that Cenk is slimy because we've been, that a grassroots organization has been shanked by a DC lobbying group. So, I don't know, man.
But prove to me, establish to me with no doubt whatsoever associated with it.
I'm going to put an attachment on here. Check it out. The PDF is in the description box about how the Department of Justice proves, with all the legalese that goes with it, that a convention can be limited. I'll put a screenshot here somewhere. So anyways, thanks for your time and your attention. Take it easy.